welcome to this episode, everybody. I'm Handren Seavey.
I'm Kim McVicar, and we have to address the elephant in the room before we get started. We both look ridiculous.
Well,
You've got some new fucking weird hat on.
yeah, it's purposeful to this episode. This is
Okay.
my fisherman hat.
Oh, okay. You kind of look like a
Um,
French painter or something. I'm waiting for you to do some
yeah,
Shakespeare.
yeah, French painter, Russian. I was going for maybe like Polish, Russian fisherman guy.
Okay.
But this episode features he was there last episode, the fisherman heavily, and I have a lot of
Fishing swords.
who no, a lot of opinions about that whole
I
storyline
can't wait.
and how it went down and what the lesson to be learned there is.
I love it. And then I let my hair be normal and have no makeup on, so I look like what my brothers used to make fun of me for growing up. Actually, they used to call me Kimba, the Lion Queen, because of my
Oh, so
name.
like a Rachel Dolezal type look.
Just a terrifying amount of curly hair. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so this is what was it? Bad Moon Rising, something like that. Strange Moon,
I didn't
Weird
even look at
Moons.
the title, but it's definitely about moons for
It's
sure.
about how the full moons apparently make things crazy, but um they start off looking at the full moon on the roof.
No, don't
Joey
they're
and
watching it on TV, right? Or are they not watching the TV?
No, they're not watching the TV. They're out on his roof outside of his room. And once again, Dawson is just being way too over dramatic, not dramatic, but like just trying to make every moment the most special moment ever.
But they
He's
also
like
have
dating a
footage.
Hallmark card.
They have footage of like when they pan from the TV to the window of all these like plastic dead arms and like all these like Dawson could go either director or murderer. You can really see all of the craziness in there.
I think that goes this for most directors. Most
Oh,
directors, if they didn't have a crew, they would just be serial murderers. Like think about like fucking James Cameron and shit. He would be a serial killer if he wasn't a director.
okay. I'm okay with that. I'm glad he
He's like,
succeeded.
yeah, because otherwise he'd be like, I'm plotting out my next 30 kills, 20 years in the future, one every other year. Like that's psycho shit.
It'd be very Shakespearean though.
Did you just learn the word Shakespearean
Yep, I'm
today?
gonna
Because
say
you've
it a
used
few
it
times.
twice now.
I'm so into it. Isn't that a new thing that everyone's raving about? Shakespeare, isn't that a new thing that just came out on
I
TikTok?
could see Gen Z fucking finding out about shit. I've seen so many TikToks where it's like some kid explaining something from the history as though he thinks he's
He's got
informing you about it. He'd be like,
it.
on September 11th in the year 2001. And it's like untold history. Two planes flew into the tower.
One of my favorite memes is it was like a TikTok you know how they do those games or whatever where it's like try to do this and it was a challenge and it was try to write your name without taking the pen off the screen and like underneath it,
Cursive, you mean?
that's what underneath it just said congratulations Gen Z you just discovered cursive writing. Like it's not a challenge you idiot.
Yeah.
Like, it's a form of writing which I think
Uh
Shakespeare used.
he probably he wrote in
Try.
calligraphy, probably. I don't know if they had a shorthand then. He also apparently probably stole a lot of his material.
Which is amazing.
Like he basically stole all the story ideas were all had been they were old tropes that had been used in
He
different
just
shit all the time.
wrote them better.
Yeah, made up new characters and wrote them better and made men play women, and it was pretty gay.
Or just got famous.
That's true too. Yeah,
Yeah.
famous playwrights for 200, Alex. Um, so yeah, they're out there fucking on the roof. Dawson is just going on and on, won't shut up. Um, and then I forget where it goes, but we end up
Then we
with
see Tamara and the dad walking down the street, and then it pans to Jen and your favorite new character, your new day player.
Abby. Oh no, the fisherman. Yeah. Yeah, so Tamara's not gone. Turns out Mitch is still trying to bang her.
Yeah.
Which good for Mitch, great for Tamara, I guess. I don't know. Uh but so which is weird how they had her leave the last episode. They had her get into the car and like
But
drive
she
off
didn't
very
leave anywhere. She just went home
yeah.
or to her hotel because I'm thinking she would have sold her house too.
And then we find out that Jen is still hanging out with Mr. Fisherman.
How did he not know that she is a child?
Oh, he knew. No, he's trying to bang a
Because he
16-year-old.
said up top to the last episode about Abby, he was like, "Let me know when your little childish friends aren't around," which is like,
Yeah, he just meant
use
like
the word child.
but acting, child acting.
Right, but he knew that they were children.
Yes, yes, but he's like, play it cool.
It's insane. So he
But
tries.
yes, he knew most fishermen are felons. They are not good people. He absolutely knew. He's in a town that he's about. So that's the thing. He can disappear too. Like
But he's
even
gonna be
if
a lawyer. Come on.
sure, that's
Why
what he
would he
said
do this?
this week.
Yeah, hopefully it's one of those situations. Because if he actually wants to be a lawyer,
He
so
was just stealing the life of his public defender that for his other rape case up in Maine.
it's like be a lawyer. And then it cuts to uh Pacey in the movie shop watching some porn. And they talk
Bold
about
move, Pace. Bold move.
yeah, at work. I don't
Yeah.
think you get away with that now.
Definitely not. I was thinking if maybe a 15-year-old could. Depending on who walked in, that might be
And
a rape.
where he had his hands. You know what I mean? Like, because he's fully clothed, he's not jerking off to it. So that's where it's okay. He's like literally like just watching porn, like it's a good show to watch.
I do remember as a teenager, you would do that more just out of fascination of how much was out there. Like, we would sit around with all the friends, and for some reason, you'd go over to a friend's house and they'd be like, I found a porn. You guys want to watch it? And like six
Yeah, that's
people.
always weird. That's the weirdest
Yeah.
thing that I think our generation did. I was even brought in on that. Like my friends would be like, "We all have a porn. Are you cool as a girl to watch it?" And as a girl, you have to be like, "Yeah, of course I'll watch it with you guys." But what? Why are we watching this? Like such.
What I have theories. I think one is that we didn't have internet stuff. You didn't necessarily have, so like anytime you could get a glimpse,
Yeah,
you would file that away in the memory bank, in the spank bank. You put it back there. So like even if it was at your friend's house with
it's
six other
now a
people,
memory. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
it's a
now a memory.
memory.
But did you
Maybe I'll
like
see some
make eye
shit I've never
contact or
seen
talk to
before.
people during it?
It's all I did. I just stared at my friends the entire no.
I'd be like, "Why?
You
Why?"
guys liking this? Do you like it? Look me in the eye. Tell me you like it.
Should I be doing that? That's normally how I think I looked at it. Like, wait, what? I did not want to have sex after seeing those. I remember being like, oh, that doesn't
Yeah.
look good for her.
Oh, and especially like I don't know what scenario you're in, but like you're hanging out with three other dudes and then they put on a film where like three dudes are just being brutal to
I don't
women
think it
and
was
you're
like
like sitting there like, oh, what do you
basically, yeah.
guys
What are we doing here? And I don't think it was like group, but I do think she got her face was like ejaculated on. And I is that how that works? I don't know. I was very
Yes.
uncomfortable.
But also by that you mean like it was a regular porn.
Right, but also I was like young, like 5th or 6th grade, like, "Wait, you're gonna piss on me?" Like, I don't know, like, I knew that it wasn't pee, but, like, it's still next to it, like,
But you were
gross.
unclear about what the substance was.
No, I knew it was cum, but I also was like, don't they all hang out together? Like, this is disgusting, and it comes out of the same, like, hole, so there's gotta be some, like no one it's not like a bar tap where people are cleaning out the tap every once in a while. These are guys. They're not
Oh
doing
no, you
crap with
didn't
it.
you didn't know that we do that? We totally. Yeah, we Q-tip it after every
All
pee.
the way up, all the way up. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All the way up, all the way down.
Good, good, good. How's the bleeding going?
That's how you know it's clean. The blood pushes out. It's what we call our periods.
Good. I'm glad that there's some you guys are feeling for us. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's very woke of you.
Mm-hmm. 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 But yeah, so he's jerking off to watching fucking
He's
porn
not jerking
in
off.
at
He's just
work.
watching it.
He was jerking off.
And he got caught.
Pacey was. Oh, something else I thought of today about this whole show and cast in general is if anybody on this entire cast Pacey would have a Massachusetts accent, a Boston accent. Like he would have a thick, like, working class New England accent.
You're very upset.
I'm not that upset because he would not have pulled it off. It would have been bad, and if he had had to stick with that for 6 seasons,
I'm jerking off over here.
yeah. Uh, but, that is one thing that, like, where it's based and stuff, they just didn't even have anybody try, was,
Nope.
the,
Just
Boston
do
or New England
American
accent.
generic television accent.
Yes. Have you heard of the accent known as white?
Yeah.
That's what we would like you to do.
Yeah, and then he asks Abby, no. I hate these kids' names.
Andy.
Yeah, he asked Andy out on a date.
And she agrees,
Hmm?
uh, but something goes weird.
Yeah, she's like, "Don't come to my house."
She's
Red flag.
catty about it.
Red
Yeah.
flag. Don't come to my house. It's not good.
Mom, she kinda has a, like, some sort of bird, like a waterfowl, where she, like, does this look down and is like, "Mom, I don't know."
Um, I definitely would have said the same thing though, and not had a crazy mom at home. I just wouldn't have wanted them to know I was going out on a date.
Your
I would,
parents.
yeah, I would 100% have been
Yeah.
like, I'll meet you there, just because I
Y
never talked about that stuff with my family.
Yeah, you're like my brother. He didn't either.
Well,
He
because I knew
never.
they would have made fun of me, and even if they didn't, I would have been so nervous that they would have made fun of me.
Uh-huh.
My family's hecklers. We're all mean. And I know I definitely destroyed all of their dates growing up. So I think that by the time I got to the age of it, I was like, fuck. Like,
Yeah, I guess that is embarrassing, but, like, as a dude, like, that happened all the time. I would go over to, like, take girls out on dates, and you'd get, like, heckled or whatever by their family. They're like, "Ah, where you go? Yeah, bring it back safe." I think the only time it sucked is
wait,
I
bring her
did.
back safe was your biggest heckle?
Yeah,
Bring
but
her back safe. Okay, that seems like a nice thing to say.
no, but I mean, yeah, that would be just general thing. But uh,
No, I would have been in like third grade, and my brother's like, with a new date, and been like, "Are you guys gonna have sex?" And he would have been like, "Kim," because once I knew what the word sex was, I used to use it because I knew it flinched everybody
oh, you said that to him.
and his date all the time.
Okay,
Like, and
okay.
or my sister, any of them, I'd be like, "Are you guys gonna have sex?" And then it'd be Kim, because they'd be like 16 or whatever.
You know that probably helped him.
But he didn't respond
Yeah.
that way to me. It was
No, I know. Of course, he can't. But then afterwards, he'd be like, "You're my sister." That was crazy, right? Like, I mean,
I
like
love.
you brought it up for him.
That's.
Now it's in the air.
I'm gonna ask him. I'll ask him. Did I ever get him laid?
Yeah, that's a great family question to ask.
100%.
Ask him at Easter.
I have no problem with this. He went to prison. It's fine. We can talk about it.
uh, so yeah, they'd agree to go on a date, and then where the fuck does it go from there?
Then it goes to
Do we get,
the mall of the shopping of the makeup. And then it's Abby and Jen, and they have a big
oh
product
yeah,
placement
yeah.
with the brand of makeup. Like it's Jen looking in the mirror, but that shot's been done so many times, but it has the brand of the makeup she's looking at in the mirror over her face, which is like so branding. And I don't even think this makeup line still exists.
I was gonna
Didn't
say
work out.
I was so oblivious to that because I didn't even
Well, maybe it still does. Urban Decay. It's a brand.
wouldn't have even recognized it as a brand of makeup. Uh, but yeah, and she's just casual, which goes to show, like, if that was not a scene of white privilege, her just dropping the shit in her purse.
Oh yeah, she's like, "Whoop, thank you, Urban."
And then she once again flips out on her and she's like, I'm gonna go out with this fish. I'm gonna get date raped by this fisherman, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and then she says a bunch of mean words to her, and then is this where she slaps her? In the store?
No. No, because she chases her out of the store. She turns around,
Oh,
dumps out the bag of stuff, and, like, either chases her out or leaves before her. I forget.
okay.
Um, I think I can see it, but it's just how this ended. We don't have to go in order of when things happen,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, of course.
basically, Jen goes on a date with this fisherman dude. It's incredibly sexual. They
Oh, yeah, there's
end
like
up
whipped cream and touching of the lips. And like, what is your most embarrassing sexual moment? Okay, you're not having those conversations unless you're testing the water.
and at her home, nobody's home, eating dessert, and then he goes for it on right on the table there, and this is the moment when Jen decides it's gone too far.
Yeah, but that didn't bother me. That didn't, because she's 16. So like she's making out with this guy, and then all of a sudden she's like, no, because she was saying no. He should have stopped way before. She was saying no many times before this. This would have
Mm,
been rape because she was like, no, maybe we should slow down. This is what, and he's like, now you want to? This is the good part. She's like, no, let's.
yeah,
And then she's like, I'm 16. Like that's what she uses as her last like resort.
yeah,
And then,
which is terrible, terrible, terrible way to play it.
but you think, I think if Grams hadn't walked in, he would have been like, so?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a fisherman. Once again, I said, this is what I mean about this. To go like right in that moment, like she said no, she said stop. She shouldn't have been in this situation. She's an underage person with clearly someone who is on the edge of outlaw and should never have set up this to happen in the first
But
place.
it's not her fault. She's the 16-year-old.
She went and talked to him in the first place.
She's still only 16. So she probably at the time wanted to fuck him and then realized, oh man, this is a man. I can't. Like it's a this is where you would get canceled. You shouldn't go on the date with the chick right away. He should say no. She couldn't be like, hey, I want to fuck you. And he can be like, you're 16. What
Right, but he is already a felon in my mind. You have
right.
just walked into a felon's trap.
I feel like this is like the Crystalia story. Which one is it? Who's in fault? Who's at fault? No, everyone just threw
I'm
themselves.
not saying who's at fault. I'm saying
I'm just fucking with you.
the way this is how I would have played the episode. Uh is you make him the hero in the
Okay, yeah, you started this
because
whole podcast with there's a lesson here. What lesson did
yes.
Handren learn other than don't say yes to a 16-year-old?
And also 16-year-old don't go trying to fuck older men.
Right, but it's not her fault.
But it's kind of her fault.
No, it's not.
He should have stopped when she said I'm 16. He should have stopped, got up and gone like, "Oh my god, that is against the law. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why were you talking to me in the first place? If you are underage, that is not cool to do to somebody. You could really fuck things up." And
Says
then
the
he
white
storms
man.
off.
Says the
And then
white
he
man. Come on, he's like, fuck, do you hear yourself? I love it. Keep digging, Handren. Everyone, you can find Handren's Instagram at
storms off.
HandrenCV and
He
comment
storms
below.
off.
Let him know
I'm
that
not
this is
done.
not okay.
He storms off. Graham, old school, walks in and goes, "I heard the whole thing." He's completely right.
That's what you wish happened?
That's what Grams should have said. If Grams was really old school, Grams would have laid down the old school, like, hey, don't do that or stab him or,
Well, she would have been like, back in my day, we'd just marry that guy.
Yeah.
Didn't guys marry 16-year-olds like that long ago?
Yeah.
That
I was 16 and your grandfather was 45 when we met.
Yeah, and we didn't have rights yet. But now you can say no. So you should. All right.
Graham's like, I've heard you can say no now.
Yeah, it's so nice. Did you know in my day we couldn't say no? We had to say yes all the time. Was there rape then back then?
No, I don't know. It's a new thing.
Because if it wasn't a legal thing, what did you just call it? Like a bad night?
Yeah.
What did girls call it before there was any legal ramification?
I'm glad you asked me.
It's just their fault, is what you're gonna say.
No. I think it was
shouldn't
just
have
called,
been home when they came and raped and pillaged her village. Is what you?
Why'd you anger God? Why did you anger God? What'd you do to God?
You should have prayed. All of these are jokes. If you're gonna cancel someone, at Handren Seavey, that's his Instagram. Comment below.
This is gonna go great.
I love it.
Hey, I'm auditioning for SNL next week.
Yeah, great. It's all good. It's all gravy. But what actually happens in the scene is she says, I'm 16, and he kind of goes, what? And then it cuts to Grams being like, she is and get basically in the nicest way possible.
And I think he knew she was 16 already,
I
but
know he knew. You
but
know, we
now that
all
she
know he
said
knew.
it, it's on the record. And if anybody knows how records work, it's this fucking pedophile felon. So
Yes, Jen should not have tried to date an older man. However, legally, it is not her fault. She's still a child. Younger
yeah,
kids fall in love with older guys immediately, and it's up to the adult to stop it. However, I also think it's why Graham sits down with her on the steps and is like, after that whole situation, like, you need to respect your body. You know what I mean? Because it is that. There is something bigger going on if you're just trying to fuck some random guy. And I'm pretty sure it's just because she's mad at her friend. We've all done that.
I don't know where you grew up too, though. This goes for in more general ways, not just going on dates with people. But my parents always taught us too, like, hey, if somebody's like 30 and is wants to hang out with you guys, and you guys are 16, they're like normal 30-year-olds don't do that. So something's probably up if like an adult is, because like occasionally we would have like high school parties and there'd be like some 25, 30-year-old guys there or some shit. And I just remember my dad being like they're never there for a good reason.
Yeah.
It's like normal 30-year-olds don't go hang out with 16-year-olds. And then once you got to be the age 30, you're like, yeah, who the fuck would, so obviously just like if you're a kid of that age and you see somebody around who wants to be friends with you that age, be highly suspicious.
Yeah, you just taught me a nice lesson. Thank you.
This
uh,
wasn't for you. This was for the viewers out
where
there
were you
that's
when I was 16? Older dudes tried to hang out with me growing up. Nothing ever happened. But
yeah,
also I always chalked it up to they wanted free tickets to the NBA, which is also probably true because I had a weird
it's
childhood
possible.
life. Or they were trying to get me and they didn't. You didn't get me this time.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're the one that got away.
uh, they're lucky.
We had this older dude that sold us weed, and then he ended up asking my friend to shower in front of him, and we were like, "Oh, I gotta find a new weed guy now."
Yeah, there's always weirdos. That's how they gotta be out there. I think they're all just online now. It's less
Yeah,
in your face.
but in that case too, it was somebody who's in a small town over from us who sold weed, who for some reason was selling to like 14 and 15-year-olds,
Of course,
and then
because
when
he
you're an
wanted to watch
adult,
them shower.
when you're an adult, even if you sold weed, you're like, I'm not gonna sell the kids. Like that's a even dumber thing to do. And this guy was like, I'll totally sell it. I'll use it to meet kids.
Yeah, I guess the lesson here is, yeah, ladies, if you're underage, don't go from an overage.
Mm. Here's where I think, apartheid was bad, but we should have it with the ages. Just like you do not mix.
Okay.
Agree to agree or agree.
And then they sit on the steps, the stoops, and Graham says like, "What's wrong with you?" And they do all of that. And then she has that moment where she realizes, because she says to Grams, "I had it under control." Because I think she legit thought when she said she was 16, it would have stopped. But what if it didn't? He was so much bigger than her. She's
Oh
lucky for Grams.
yeah. And he's a fisherman. He can lose a body.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, he's gone. Jen's gone. Nobody ever found. Just
This was such a sad episode. Everything was sad in it. Then you got the parents' arguments the whole time.
okay.
All
Yeah,
they do
that's a
is
whole
fight.
nother thing to unload though. Too. This is where they set up the fucking dumb ass like dual date thing,
Was
and
it? I didn't see either of them as dates. I thought they were legit business things with flirting. And see, they're not 16, so I don't have a problem with it.
oh no, I know, but it was totally dates in the parents' mind, and I don't know how the other people
I
feel.
didn't. I watched and didn't think that.
You don't have a business thing and have somebody over to your house and sit on the couch together and sip wine. That's not a business thing.
Um. Okay, I've seen it done.
And you sit on a love seat together and sip wine as a business thing.
I wish this was alcohol. Man, have I missed a lot of life social cues? Is what I'm learning today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think both the parents were trying to fuck, and I think honestly the other people were down to fuck as well.
Minus the listening to the other person fuck in the other room and have an argument.
It's the only thing they were against was the argument. If they heard him fuck, I don't think they would have really cared.
And
I think it
Dawson
would
is
have.
so invested in his parents' life. Why? Why?
I don't. I mean,
Like if my granted I didn't grow up with two parents, but if my parents were fight, there was never like I mean, I would be like, "Mom, are you okay?" But I wouldn't be like, "You guys need to sit down and talk to me. Are you guys having an open relationship? What's going on? I need to be a part of your
yeah.
sexual story." That's the
Why would
last
you ask your
thing you should
parents
want to
that?
be involved in.
You should wonder from afar.
That's way creepier than a 16-year-old hitting on an old guy.
Creepy is it makes Dawson creepy.
I will say, just because I have to say this, because I know we're done with the Jen story, but her hair drove me nuts this whole episode.
Yeah, she has
Like curly, like
hair,
her grandma, and then never like brushed it out. It was
and
like,
it's like, but it's also like she has fine hair too, so it's not like thick or anything. It's like it looks like an old lady, like an old lady who's
like,
like
like a chick
going out
who
one
moved in
more
with her
time from the
grandma.
retirement home. Yeah.
Yeah, a chick who moved in with her grandma and only had access to the same hair tools.
I think her as a person, Michelle Williams, has only had. I mean, she's a fine looking woman, but she's got odd hair, and she's had odd hair styles and a lot of things. But when she played, didn't she play Marilyn Monroe?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I think My Day with Marilyn.
I think she did.
Great hair, probably wigs, but great hair for that.
Smart. Do you think, cutting back to Tamara and Gail, when they met at the door, Gail was like, damn, she's hotter than me?
I think they would have fucked. If it had gone south for some reason and both guys left, I think Gail might have got down with Tamara.
But
And Tamara is just an addict. I think that's what I've come to now. When she like broke away from Pacey when they kissed in the warehouse, and then she was like, "What am I doing?" Like she's an addict. She was on like 21 days, clean, no kids,
but that's the other
and
thing. The
then
mom like is like, "Oh, you were at that PTA," like that very like, "Oh, I
yeah,
know what you did."
yeah. But what would have happened is she's now in full blown addict mode. So if Mitch leaves, she would try and fuck Gail, and just start like drinking and probably like get heroin over there before the night was through, and just Tamara can nosedive. I think that's pretty clear.
So Tamara gets her own YouPorn channel after this.
Absolutely.
She would
Think
have an
about this.
OnlyFans if it was now her character.
Yes,
Do you think there's an
absolutely.
OnlyFans out there where it's a teacher and kids are all on it? Not kids. Ugh, I hate that I said that. Never mind.
Now who's getting canceled? Um,
I just said, is there one? There probably is, and that's gross.
no, but think about this about Tamara. When we first learned stuff about her, she had like she says was a bad relationship in New York. Like, and one, she's like a couple people here and there, and then one bad relationship that I had to leave New York. Who do you think was really the bad one in that now? Now that we've seen
That's true.
Tamara, how she acts as a person, who was really the bad one in that?
How many young children has she? This whole show has a lot of predators. We've said this before, but it's got a lot of older people trying to fuck a bunch of younger people.
Predators Creek is what they should call it. And
And then
that is a horror movie.
it would be, yeah, for sure. And then, so the whole ending of the parents saga is they fight. Dawson comes down and is like, "Are you guys having open relationships? What's Thursday? What's Thursday? You guys keep saying Thursday." He's a fucking idiot. It drives me
Yeah.
insane.
Mm-hmm.
How do you read those lines and are not like, "Come on, I would get this. I'm not that bad."
There's a large paycheck behind it, I think
Fair. I
is
would 100% do this role tomorrow. I would play all the predators all in one episode.
You got to think, yeah, by season 2, they probably got
Isn't it season 3 where your contract actually gets renewed though? I think if union rules are season 1 and 2, you're flat rate and you're stuck. It's when season 3 happens you have a chance.
possibly, maybe they were under a different rule because it was the CW, or was it CW or
They probably had a good
UPN?
paycheck to begin with. I'm just saying you
Yeah.
can't fight
Oh
your
yeah.
thing until third season.
No, you're trying to sell it to get that third season. You're like, fucking act the shit out of these dumb lines.
Yep.
What's Thursday?
What is Thursday? Okay, so then he has his epiphany, and they're just like, Dawson, it's none of your business. And then they basically have a whole, well, if you hadn't cheated on me, well, you don't, you never, I'm tired of paying for you. Like a lot of like typical argument stuff. And then
Hmm.
she storms back to her date slash business meeting.
Spills some wine.
And then,
Gail's a little drunk, I think, at this point too.
and then the dad cries. What do you think? I think that
Yeah,
was
and
his
then Mitch.
Oscar moment. Mitch was like, give me the close up. Here we go.
Yeah, he was definitely like I've been waiting to sink my teeth into something since I flipped out in the car. Um, but also he shows himself for the cuck he is as he just breaks down and has no manhood to him and fucking breaks down in front of his son who will now never respect him.
That's Dawson. Of course he will. Dawson respects his dad by ending this episode doing the same thing, crying.
I wish Dawson had, as soon as his dad started crying, Dawson had just slowly stepped his way backwards out of the room.
What if he just hit him? What happened? This is why she cheats on you.
Get your shit together, Mitch.
Ah,
Uh, but yeah, when my if my parents had been like, if I was like, what's up with Thursdays,
I would never
and
want to ask.
they just said it's none of your business, I'd be like, great, some shit I don't have to think about. All right, I'll see you later.
I would be
I
like, "What
wouldn't
are
want to
Thursdays? What
know.
are Thursdays? Can I go out tonight? Great, bye." Like I would have
Yeah,
utilized
yeah.
it as leverage to do something
Can
I
I have
want.
$20? Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. And then,
God.
oh, we never established Abby gets in Dawson's room.
Oh yeah,
What is
yeah. Oh,
that?
and this whole time Pacey is okay.
Yeah, we'll
There's
get
a
there. We'll
whole
get
other
there. We'll
thing
get there.
going.
There's so
She's
many
okay.
things. This is fun.
But yeah, Abby's like, I'm gonna suck some dick, and she slithers her
Not
way
even,
up
I
to
think she's just
Dawson's.
creeping. Like she's just such a creeper.
Oh yeah, I guess she's just down to drop to do it. But
But then she also was like, "I'll fuck Dawson to hurt Jen." 100%.
and I kind of think that's why she was in Dawson's room. She could
Oh,
have just been spying from outside of her house. She
very
didn't
true.
need to be in Dawson's house.
Very true.
Yeah, I think she was
Also,
setting it up all along.
shouldn't Dawson be afraid that all of these people keep coming in his house, or at least his parents?
They all just keep coming in trying to fuck him. Why? Like
I guess
I
you
would
you have a point. I mean, yeah,
be
okay.
like,
First
I
thing they'll
am
do is
never
like,
closing this goddamn window.
and yet he's still a virgin.
I know.
So
Yeah.
it's a very fun ride for him. Yeah. So she like hits on him, and he's like, no, and she's like, Joey doesn't have to know, and he's like, no,
And once again, Dawson gets shafted because what's Joey doing? She's cheating on him across
but
town.
he just cheated on her like 2 episodes before this.
Oh, with Jen.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Neither of them initiated the kiss.
She forced herself on him.
So did Jack. It was dark. He grabbed her, turned around. She was like, what?
Okay. Okay. Under those rules, I'll give Joey a pass.
It's the same. I think it's equal.
But
Um,
I wonder, knowing that information, what would Dawson have done at the time?
which time?
He's sitting there with Abby, and if he knew whether it was forced or not, could be like, "Hey, it was just like you and Jen,
But he never told her
Joey."
about Jen either. So he's a hypocrite.
No, I know.
And it's
He's.
worse because Jen and him dated. So what, so that's the whole conversation of like, well, why are we even that close to her anyways? Didn't you knew, you know what I mean? You know she likes you, blah blah blah. You would have had that whole conversation. Whereas like
I
the
find it.
backstory is like, we work together. What do you want me to do?
I think in within the midst of a relationship, a new person is more dangerous than an ex.
Possibly, but I'm talking from like a just a female argument of like a why'd you cheat on me? If it's a stranger, it's always going to happen. But if somebody who they've already
I
dated,
like that you admit that. If it's a stranger, it will always happen.
well, I mean, like you're going to cheat all the time. Then, like that kind of like if you're going to cheat
Right,
with a
right.
stranger,
I
you're
get.
always going to cheat.
Mhm.
But if it's somebody who you were madly in love with and they just kiss you out of nowhere or something, it's more of a, and this is not, I've never done this. I feel like it sounds like I'm one of these people. I've never been in this
And
situation.
you're like, and the sun was just setting, and we
Yeah.
were.
And it was
standing
just
there.
so lovely, and it was, like, not my fault.
And it was because I moved that we had split up in the first place. So it wasn't weird. Like, it wasn't like we had bad blood.
Exactly.
But like, hypothetically,
And he was 30 and I was 16, and,
I don't want to wait.
proud to be reaching legal age
Yeah.
now. Maybe that's what that song is about.
Yeah. I don't want to wait for you to turn
Be
18.
18. Maybe we'll write our own remix.
That's what the plot of a lot of these episodes have been so far.
100%. Yeah, so we'll go to the Joey story, I guess. They're at
Yeah.
work. It's really boring. They're making paper cranes, and there's an
They
old
put
guy
a ghost in there for no
coffee.
reason. They put in this old man ghost for.
He's just sitting there drinking his coffee, and then their lobster tank goes out, and then this guy has his one line, which is like, "Did you try unplugging and plugging back in?" I love that.
Did you
Uh,
turn it off and turn it back on again?
I love that that was the yes, because whenever something technical happens, that's the first thing you're supposed to check. Like, come on. I would be
Yeah.
pissed if someone said that to me. I'd be like, yeah, I fucking checked that. But in this case, they didn't. So kudos to the old man.
They are dumb teenagers, and it is weird that they are left to run this place.
But
They're
it's hers.
usually, but I mean, okay, if we've gone over, what this entire series is about, this is the place where an older person would be trying to fuck teenagers, is in a restaurant setting like this. And it's weird that it is not happening, that it's two teenagers hooking up,
Okay, that's fair.
which will happen at restaurants as well, but mostly it's like managers and chefs trying to fuck,
Hostesses.
yes.
hmm so then they have a conversation of like, because Joey's like, I wish he would leave. He's just getting coffee. And then he's like, you don't know where he's been. Basically saying that you don't know where I've been. Like, you don't
Yeah.
know if he's poor. You don't know if he's no family. Like, he basically says his life story. And then the man leaves a poem and $100 tip.
And then he went out and shot himself in the head. And that was all he had left.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? But yeah, and then he had some poem, and then Jack
Yeah.
kisses Joey, and she's like, no. She even like pushes and's like, you know what I mean? And then Dawson meets them, and she's like, okay, bye. But she does do that look back of like, and then the first time her and Dawson kiss again, they have that look in Joey's face of like, oh, he's not as good as the other boy.
Yeah. And I was trying to look for hints in Jack's eyes that he's like, I wish it was a boy. I like the name Joey. I am looking for a Joey.
I like that. I don't know if they knew he was going to be a gay character yet, or you think?
I think they do, because this swings straight into it.
Okay.
It's like, they date and then they break up because he's gay. So I think if not, if to spring that on that character and him to just go through with, like, if he's acting this part
What if
and
he's
doesn't,
a gay person in real life, and then that's why they changed the character?
then it would probably be great. You'd probably
What
be
if
psyched.
what if he was like, "Hey, there's no gay characters," and they're like, "You want to be a gay character?" And then I don't know. I have no idea. I wasn't in the writers' rooms.
No, if he is gay in real life, I bet it was awesome that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I have
If
no
you
idea.
just, yeah, I mean, it would be weird. It would be the exact opposite reaction, probably. Not opposite, but I don't know. I think maybe early 2000s, you're an actor who gets a role on a show, and then without telling you, you find out that the person is gay. If you were gay at that time, you would be like, fuck yeah, I am going to be an icon.
Probably. Or you're worried about your career going under.
Yeah, you'd probably have people in your ear telling you it was a bad idea.
Yeah, because there's so many people who didn't come out in that time frame.
And still to this day,
Keir Smith.
I believe it's Kerr.
Oh, okay. Kerr.
Is it
He's from
Kerr?
Philadelphia. I don't know. I need to find out. Oh, I know. He's been married to two women.
So it's up in the air.
So, wait. Is this a woman? I think he's straight.
Mm. So what if we found it? Maybe it ruined his career. Couldn't get a straight role after this.
No, he has a good career. I was just checking out his actual life. Uh,
Great career. His actual life, shambles.
yeah, he did The Fosters, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., several
Nice.
NCISs,
Nice.
CSIs. You get it, all the procedurals. Okay, so yeah, that happened, and then
Basically, under a full moon, they kiss, and then Dawson shows up to get her, because he's just had a rough night finding out his parents are swingers, and that's awkward. That
that would be a
how would
weird thing to learn about your parents at that age,
yeah,
especially when
I
it's
don't.
so adamant about you not having sex. I'd be like, but you have key parties.
I don't know that I would go tell people right away.
Oh no. So Canadian. No, you did not tell that one. That one you keep to yourself.
Yeah, you just hold on to it, and then you die.
You push it down until you find out you have a second ulcer, and then you just get the medication. You still don't
Yeah,
talk about it.
and eventually someone will die, and that will take your mind off it.
Yep, because when people die, stories die with them. You can keep a secret to the grave.
I was thinking about people who say like don't disparage the dead, or like don't like tell secrets about people who have died. And I think the only people who say that are people with deep dark secrets.
Oh, probably 100%.
Yeah.
Please promise me when I die, you don't bring up all of that.
Yeah.
Hi. Okay, but then there's one more storyline we have to get to.
Oh, Crazyville.
I like it. It just
This
makes
is
me
gonna
like this character more.
she is really gonna she steps into the light, this her storyline through this time, as far as not being on the show, too. She has some major fucking drama to unfold, does some crazy acting and shit.
We're talking about Andy. Andy, basically, their date, both of them don't go to the right location. He ends up at her house where she doesn't want him to see her mom, who is lost it. Turns out we find out that her mom is the reason that the son is dead. Her brother's dead.
Yeah, it seemed, I
Like,
mean, it
not
was
her
kind of,
fault, but she was in the car. Like, it sounded like a car
yeah,
accident, and she was
yeah,
driving the car and didn't see the
yeah,
other car. That doesn't make it her fault necessarily, but she puts blame on herself and then
yeah.
kind of lost it and sometimes doesn't acknowledge that he's dead. And then also her dad left because he was like, I'm not dealing with this crazy family.
He just apparently stops in and leaves some money and goods.
And his business isn't doing well. It was a lot. It was a lot to spit out
Yeah.
in a monologue.
It was, this is a tip. Now, this, if anything, fits a good New England family. It is this storyline. It is, we had money for a minute. Insurance was going well. 2008 hit, and your brother died. And, that's when things got weird between me and mom. And you just, Tina, my secretary, she was really there for me at this time. And so I got to step away, live with her in Portsmouth, New Hampshire most of the time. Don't worry, I'll be by.
I'll give
You
you a
take
hundred
care of your
dollars.
mother. I'll give you $100 every month. Do with what you will. Bills are on you. Um,
Good
and
luck.
see you later. That is New England to a T.
Good.
That storyline. I'm just saying, as far as New England storylines go, they nailed it out of the park with this. With the what are their last names? Do we know yet?
I don't. I mean, I could look it up. I was
I
just
think
on the
they've
character.
said it before. Andy and Jack.
Let me just go back a page. He plays Jack McPhee. Yes, Andy
Andy
McPhee.
McPhee.
He says it a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, calls her McPhee.
Yeah.
Yes, typical mix. We got some Irish blood. I like this.
Yeah, it's an interesting episode. And then, but it makes uh, Pacey's character so lovable.
Well, I mean, Pacey, this is probably, he strives for chaos based on how he grew up and what he grew up with. Like a good family, he wouldn't know what to do with. A fucked up family, he's like, I know exactly how to slide in.
Well, also, yeah, he has grown up needing protection his whole life, so now he can take care of somebody else, and that's nice.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. He definitely but also the instability, like he feels stable in instability.
For sure. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
comforting to know that his family's not the only one.
Um so I'm glad these two codependents have found each other.
For a little bit, but that's high school. It's perfect. That's when you date these ones. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and I think I feel like a lot of times usually those couples either have a lot of sex or no sex at all.
And they're so good for each other character wise because she gets him to be better in school and he gets her to like calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
So they need each other. I
Yes.
also love the idea of the crazy mom.
Oh, she's awesome. And I want to say I think she's in a few more, but I wonder we got to look for this cuz it's possible they try and switch up that actress.
Ooh.
We got to keep an eye out next time she's on screen and see if we see if they Aunt Viv'd her.
Let's see. Can I just look it up?
She might be too minor to like necessarily find right
Each
away, but
episode, it's yeah, I'll find out. That's a good one.
Kim is on the case.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. Well, what else? I don't know. What else you want to talk about?
Well, wait, where did Dawson and Joey end? With just kissing back at
I think they end up just on the roof, just kissing, right?
yeah, but I feel like it was like Joey, I don't know. You could see she was like she wasn't in there. She wasn't in the kiss.
I think she was going to tell him, and then she chose not to.
Yeah, instead she was like, I will let him kiss him. That's what she did. That's what she did right there.
Yeah.
I just kissed a man and now I'm putting that on you.
Be a man, and then he cries.
The Leary men, not a strong bunch.
Did you cry when your daughter was born?
Uh, quite possibly, yeah.
I love it.
It's all a
I love it.
whirlwind.
That's the only time it's allowed.
You know what I didn't cry? When my wife was cheating on me. I didn't cry then because it didn't happen to me because that doesn't happen. That happens to Learys.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Look at it. Both Learys have been cheated on now.
She didn't cheat on him. No more than
Yep.
he cheated on her.
Correct. So they cheated on each other.
Okay, that's fine. I can accept that.
But even still, it was both a case of just like they were annoying men, and both of the women that were with him were like, I want somebody else.
Yeah, this is great. I'm not against it.
Because the Leary men, they need a bit of a backbone. I want to know where Grandpa Leary is. I think clearly that's where
Well,
the
we hear the
fault
story.
lies.
He's dead.
Oh, that's right. That's when he fucking
That's
breaks
the
down crying
monologue.
about it. Yeah. So that's the thing.
Never
He doesn't have
asked
a
my
father.
dad, how do you handle
Yeah.
someone cheats on you?
So he doesn't know how to be a man because his dad died. And because of that, now Dawson also does not know how to be a man.
Yet he'll grow up. He'll become a man.
Mm,
I have
that's
faith in the
debatable.
storyline. I honestly don't know.
That's a question we should ask at the end of the entire series is, did Dawson become a man?
Okay, I'm down.
All right. So listeners, you just got hooked in for an entire series because we said that's a big question at the end of this.
You'll never know unless you listen every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. I don't want to wait. I'm Handren Seavey.
I'm Kim McVicar.
Bye.
Bye.